Hey y'all, this is Mr. Pepin, and this is going to be our second video lesson for science. In this lesson, we're going to be covering different types of living things known as producers, consumers, and decomposers. After we define these terms, we're going to go over how all three kinds of living things are connected. Let's start with this statement that's going to summarize some of the main ideas we're going to touch on. Within an environment or ecosystem, organisms are dependent on other organisms to get the energy and nutrients they need to survive. Let's define the word organism. Organism is a term for living thing. This means an organism can be a plant, an animal, or a microscopic being. By microscopic being, that means you need a microscope to see them. Let's define nutrients. Nutrients is vitamins or other healthy substances that living things, such as us, need to produce energy. This is so important because that energy that we produce is used to help us move around, run, play sports, etc. Anything we need our body to do, we need energy for. Let's start with producers, one type of organism. Now, producers such as trees, bushes, grasses, all the way down to vegetables, are organisms that make their own food. Through a process called photosynthesis, if you clap it out, it'll make it easier to say. Plants use water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight to make their own food and energy. Mr. Pepin, what is carbon dioxide? Do me a favor, breathe out. That is carbon dioxide. And plants need that along with water and sunlight to make their own food. Apart from producers, we also have consumers. Now, a consumer is a living thing that eats other living things to get their energy. In other words, consumers cannot make their own food. They cannot conduct photosynthesis. That's why they are so dependent on other organisms to get the nutrients and energy they need. Now, these consumers can eat producers, such as plants, or they can eat other consumers, which would be animals, for example. It all depends on the type of consumer. And a very special type of consumer that we're going to touch on last is known as a decomposer. Now, a decomposer is a type of consumer that only eats dead plants and animals. Now, this is a very, very important job because in eating these dead plants and animals, decomposers break down the bodies and then help the energy that is inside those dead bodies get back into the soil. Plants that grow in soil then use this energy to make more of their own food. That's why the job of a decomposer is so important. So next time you see a decomposer such as an earthworm, don't scoff at it, because the job it does is very, very important. With what we've gone over, I hope that y'all will begin to see how producers, consumers, and decomposers are all connected. Producers make their own food and energy. Consumers may eat producers to get their own energy. And then decomposers take all dead matter from producers and consumers, break it down, and return it back to the soil for producers to use. Your assignment for this week is going to touch on all three different types of organisms. You'll find your assignment by going to Google Classroom and clicking on Science Week 2, Producers, Consumers, and Decomposers. Your assignment is going to ask you to choose between the three types of organisms and then explain how all three are connected. Good luck, class. I know you can do it.